concerned should the Lakers be about Anthony Davis?
You saw how stiff that right heel area was. Didn't want to get any flexibility in it as he limped off.
He missed 2 games earlier this week with a strained Achilles, and then we just saw him limp off the court right before halftime.
Well, if he misses an extended period of time, they should be very concerned.
Grabs that right Achilles area, and that's not a good sign.
No, it's not for the Lakers, who lost for the first time in 8 games last night, and maybe now the loss of Anthony Davis for an undetermined period of time. Keyshawn J. Will Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. The NBA's best insider joins us on the Goodyear Hotline. The Lakers are calling it a right Achilles strain. We'll talk about it with Woj here in 1 second. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Woj joins us now on the Goodyear Hotline. If you're wondering, the Lakers are off today. They'll be back in action against Minnesota tomorrow. So, Adrian, what's the latest here on Anthony Davis and the injury suffered last night?
Well, I was told there was some swelling on that injury last night after Anthony Davis went back to the locker room after that banging legs with Nikola Jokic, and he's going to get an MRI today. You heard Davis last night say, that he's going to have to be, knows he needs to be cautious with this injury. He had missed 2 games, comes back and re-aggravates it. And so I think you could expect to see him sit out a while here. Now, how long that will be remains to be seen. I was told there was no sense there was any structural damage last night, but that's why you get the MRI today. And certainly for the Lakers, this is the only thing you feel sometimes that could derail them would be an injury to Anthony Davis or LeBron James, and so certainly they're going to be protective of Davis, and we'll see how that MRI turns out today.
Woj, how could this AD injury change things for us come trade deadline?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, if you're the Lakers, I think they've nosed around on, the good role players that might be available out in the marketplace. But, you're not really, there's no replacing Anthony Davis. And if he's got to sit out a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, maybe it's a few days, I don't think it changes how they would approach the deadline. I think there's certainly, if you're the Lakers, I think you may wait and see what the buyout market looks like. Players, who get bought out of their contracts, who don't get traded at the deadline or get traded somewhere where they might just be a contract throw into a bigger deal and become available. And, that's a way, if you're the Lakers, you don't have to give up any assets in a trade, whether that's draft picks, whether it's first or second rounders. And so I don't imagine this impacts how Rob Pelinka would look at the trade deadline. I think there's, optimism that this is an injury that can be managed, and the Lakers are going to have to manage it.
Giannis misspoke calling the Jazz the best team out west. What's the reaction been? What's the reaction been around the league about Giannis's misstep there?
The Jazz are playing the best basketball in the NBA, but that's obviously 2 different things from being the best team. But listen, this is a formidable Jazz team, and this is a team that's really been built to play a lot of different styles. They've got size, they've got shooting, they play elite defense, and they've got a good home court advantage in Utah, in the altitude, in the postseason. Those are all things that you like your chances with, and they have superior coaching in Quinn Snyder. But certainly we've seen this Jazz team in recent years, get out to big starts, not quite like this, but you've seen the depth of this team really shine through, and obviously Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert playing some of the best basketball of their career.
Donovan Mitchell can live up to the expectations of Shaq. We have All-Star Game coming up March 7th, Sunday. What's the latest you're hearing about that, my man?
Yeah, Jay, I think the league and the union are finishing up details on all the health and safety stuff, on everything that's going to go around, not just the All-Star Game, but that mid-season break for players. And the rules they're going to be under to try to keep infections down as the league starts up its second half around March 9th, March 10th. And so I think you may see an announcement, perhaps as soon as today, but certainly today or tomorrow from the league about it. You know, the one thing I was told is, you know, they're going to do everything on Sunday night. No more All-Star Saturday night. So the skills competition, three-point competition, and I'm told a dunk competition that is likely to be at halftime of the game on Sunday night. And I know one player that the league would like to get in the skills competition, LaMelo Ball from Charlotte, who very likely is headed toward the Rookie of the Year.
Smart. I mean, it makes sense to bring one of your biggest social media phenomenals to one of your events that kind of launches the league. But Woj, you talk to so many players on a day-to-day basis. Your podcast is incredible. Saw the last one with Gordon Hayward. Have you gotten any sense from any players that they may not want to go to this All-Star game, considering all the circumstances of the pandemic?
Yeah, I think especially among the elite players, there is an enthusiasm. They've said that publicly, but listen, I think a lot of guys are still, I think most, though, see it as an obligation that they may not like it. They don't in this year. They would rather have the time off, but that they're going to go. And we'll see how much any guys really play. And then there's, that next tier of player who might be trying to make their first All-Star game or they've only made one in their career. There is enthusiasm among that group. They would love to play in an All-Star game. This is an opportunity perhaps to do it. And so I think as we get closer to it, I think more players, I don't want to say they're going to get excited about it, but I think there are more guys who are resigned to the fact, that they've got to go, they've got to show up, they've got to at least play minimal, give some minimal minutes in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's ironic that Kawhi is the biggest superstars. That says the least, but he said the most when he said, folks, it's all about money. We know it. That's the deal. The NBA trade deadline is March 25th, so we keep an eye out for that. Woj, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Woj.
Thanks a lot, Woj.
Love that. Stand alone one night. Let's get it all done. If the guys don't want to be here, let's keep them for the minimum amount of time we have. All right, is it time for J.J. Watt to move? Fellas, let's just lay in on this. And coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about another Texas size trade that could be in the works, courtesy of Stephen A., who threw something out really interesting this morning. Jamis Marvin, wherever he wants, but the Colts getting a QB would make them a nice spot. That's kind of your thing, Key. Keep him in the division, see him twice a year, make them regret what they don't have, and then not
Tennessee.
just Watt, and add to it.
Yeah, but they're not letting Deshaun Watson go to Indianapolis.
Sergeant Hulka. I like this, Jay. The Lions, but he says I can't come up with a legit reason. I just want to
Other than just being a fan of your squad. Please come to my squad. No reason why you would really do that, but it doesn't matter.
BG_SGP. Why do you have to make it so difficult? Cleveland.